Delica,
Here.
Kathy Willis.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we had several meeting minutes to look at here. And I will look for a motion and a second to accept those minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Oh, Kevin, you seconded it.
Okay, any discussion on any of the minutes that were presented? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the communications, we didn't have any communications at all. So we will move right to public input. And were there people that had signed up for public input tonight?
Yep, I have, that's your seat there.
Okay, this one right here?
There should be two of them.
Okay, yep, perfect. Thank you so much. So just welcoming the public today, and for those that are going to speak, we allow 5 minutes for each speaker. And we had a podium at one time. Where would you like them to be? We'll put the podium up there for you. And if you would just state your name when you come up and where you're from. Eric Larson is our first speaker to come up today.
I would like to thank the board for allowing me time to speak. I have a handout that I would like to give to the board today. Is there a vehicle by which I may do that? Thank you, Superintendent. Just to give you a little background on why I'm here tonight, I stand before you as a concerned Christian father. My wife Becky and I come from different angles on issues like this that we believe makes our understanding more complete and helps us give our child a more complete upbringing than we would otherwise. I get my understanding from God's word and my worldly experience, and a lot of it from my wife. She gets hers from God's word and extensive schooling. She will soon graduate from NAU with a Bachelor of Social Work and a double major in psychology with minors in child development and sociology, 4.0 GPA, magna cum laude, and double honors. So I get a lot of my understanding from her. She's taught me a lot. She couldn't be here tonight because our daughter suffers from anxiety when severe thunderstorms are as they are. We have strong and well-founded beliefs on how to raise our children. So I hope that we can partner with the board to do this not only for our child, but all children properly. We want to demand transparency regarding some very sensitive material that our daughter was exposed to at a school presentation. I spoke with Principal Lance Masters at Washington Middle School about this material. He provided us with a copy of the PowerPoint presentation slides. I'm sure they will be available to you if you request them from him. And if you read them, perhaps you'll get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. We were not offered a chance to see this material before our daughter was exposed to it. And to allow her to opt out of this sort of event is no substitute whatsoever for parental control. We believe that this material is a deliberate attempt to confuse our children as to the definition of the two genders that I believe in and my wife believes in as Christians. We believe that this was also done in a deliberate attempt to circumvent parental control. We cannot allow that. Now, this material here is something that we believe uses mental health as a vehicle to normalize transgenderism and homosexuality. And we're upset. As parents, we prefer to be proactive and not reactive. And we're forced to be reactive now because we weren't allowed to see this material ahead of time. We weren't allowed to have the parental control that we like to have and that we have a right to. The handout that I gave you was from the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, and is a standard for psychologists to use. There is science backing this up. We believe that gender dysphoria is real. I have a stepson who suffers from severe mental illness, a range of them. He is not able to function in society. He has to live in a group home. And to use mental illness as a vehicle to normalize something that we believe very strongly against is something that upsets us a lot. I hope you can understand. The fact that gender dysphoria was not a part of the presentation that was given to our children, I think, in my opinion, it exposes the fact that perhaps there was an agenda behind it. And that's not something that I appreciate at all. It also indicates to me that the people who made the presentation are not qualified to treat people that suffer from gender dysphoria.
Your time is up. I appreciate you coming and talking about this, though.
May I get an extension?
I cannot give you an extension.
Thank you very much to the board. I hope you will consider my presentation tonight and look into this matter. We would like to see an investigation, complete a due process into who decided to expose our children to this without our knowledge, and for the board as a body to meddle proper discipline. Thank you.
Okay, and our next speaker, Jim Heineke.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking all of you for being a part of this board. Speaking from personal experience, it is not always easy to step up to the plate and volunteer your time and talent. I cannot speak with certainty for anyone except myself, but I do believe there are a lot of parents, students, staff, and community members that truly appreciate the 7 of you stepping up to help guide our school district by this Wisconsin motto I learned in taking time to tour our state capitol building recently. That motto is forward. Additionally, I'm not sure who deserves the credit, but thank you for having someone in administration get in contact with me regarding concerns I spoke about in public input last month. I truly appreciate the effort and did not want it to go without recognition. So I have come to speak to you this evening about a couple things very concerning to me. The previous board chose to give the superintendent the authority to take action, change, or modify COVID protocols without needing to first receive approval from the Board of Education. It is my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that there was never a date or a defined length of time that this authority was to be granted until. If I am correct on that, wouldn't that mean that this is something that can and probably would be carried over into future superintendents' tenures as well, if not ended? I bring this up to this board tonight as we are slowly starting to hear the most annoying words when put together coming back to the surface. Cases are on the rise. I am fairly certain that a lot of people would agree with me when I say I am sure this is not a road we want to go down again. Incidentally, I would also like to enlighten others as to something that I found on the Manitowoc Public School District website. It is found by clicking on the following in this order: for families, parent resources, and weather information. Once weather information opens up, scroll down to what happens if I choose to keep my child at home or pick them up early due to weather conditions. There you will find a simple and clearly stated sentence I wish would have come to light sooner, which states as follows. Parents always have the right to make their own decision regarding what is best for their child. While I am aware that there are people out there saying I am taking this out of context, I truly am not, because while it is in the area talking about weather, that statement covers more than just that. I am here tonight to simply request, I think this is how this is done, but again, if I'm wrong, I'm good with being educated on that the board make a motion to revoke this previously mentioned authority given to the superintendent effective immediately and have it be approved. The other item I wanted to bring to the board's attention is regarding summer school. When I was in school, one of the reasons students went to summer school was to deal with poor, if not failing grades, to be able to avoid being held back to repeat a grade. This did involve core classes being offered as well. Since COVID has taken such a tremendous blow to so many students, and many still continue to deal with an unfortunate snowball effect, I would be interested to hear what the curriculum committee could potentially find out about adding these types of classes as an option, as well as what can be done to improve Abe's Learning Lab to more of a viable resource versus just being essentially another study hall with very minimal help available to students. Again, I thank you all for taking the time to serve our community in this capacity. It is truly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends our public input. I appreciate everyone coming and providing us some perspective on where the community is coming from. Okay, and now we have committee reports. Personnel committee, we met and we have 2 minutes as we had a closed session. So if one of the committee members would make a motion in a second for us to approve the personnel committee minutes.
I'll move that. Right.
Do we have a
Who's
second?
second to this? Matthew's second. Matthew, you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, any discussion about anything that was in the committee minutes? Okay, if none, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay. And then we have the payment of vouchers. We have a bill list and we need a motion and a second to approve those.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on any of the bills? Any questions for Angela at all?
I had a question on I noticed there was a staff training from CISA on there. And I didn't know if I can get details on that, but I'm just curious to know what that entailed and.
I wouldn't have that on hand. I'd have to look at what training that was. So
Okay.
I can forward that on to you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I'll make that.
Okay, any other questions about the bill list? Okay, all in favor
Of the vouchers?
of the bill list? Yeah, the vouchers. Mhm.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? All right, and we have, what's that?
In principle, yes.
And we have the monthly financial report. And Angela, did you want to highlight anything on there?
The main thing I wanted to share, we have received common school funds this last month. That is one of our primary aids that we've received for libraries over the course of the year, and it's based on a per student amount. It arrives every April. Sort of our aids kind of come at a similar time each year. So that's the the latest aid that we received. So that's the largest point I needed to make. Otherwise, things are shaping up typically as they go for this time of the year for the financials.
Okay, any questions at all for Angela about the financial statements that were presented? Okay, great, thank you. All right, and then we have our personnel report. We have two. So the original, and then we also have an addendum. And do I have a motion and a second to approve those?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the personnel report submitted by Joyce.
Okay, any discussion at all?
A lot of hires.
Okay. I just have one discussion item on the addendum, actually two. I just want to make a brief statement. I noticed that one of the positions is an additional teacher position. And, you know, I know that we had talked about in previous meetings that we'd like those to go through personnel if there's a new hire. And so, you know, since we can't really amend that or do anything about that now, I just want to make just to ask that in the future that those come before personnel committee before we have them on the sheet here.
Question, which one? I did not see that one. Where's that one?
Where is that? Yeah.
The additional.
Well, I can't really, I don't
Yeah,
want to
if
say.
you want, can you, with it, you can probably state the position, correct?
It is one of the special education teacher positions.
Is it on the regular or the
It's on
addendum?
the addendum.
It's on the addendum,
Mhm.
okay.
There was an email from Joyce on one of them. Is that a new?
Oh, I
is
see
that-
which one you're
Is that
talking
a new
about.
appointment, the one that was referred to in the email?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, that's
So
not the one.
kind of a
Yeah.
renewal appointment, you know. Okay.
So that was the only statement I wanted to make is let's, you know, make sure that we have those on personnel, the committee before. Any other discussion at all?
Is that done normally by course of?
I don't think it has been, Carrie, in the past, but I think it's good practice to, you know, if we're gonna add positions that we, you know, discuss those and determine.
I mean, if we have allotted a number of positions, I mean, what constitutes a new hire? Like adding to the already existing staff? You know?
Correct.
Oh,
So if I could, Joyce, could you explain why that was not brought to personnel instead of just on the report here?
Yeah, absolutely. So historically, if we are asking or recommending a new position, a position, for example, that doesn't exist in our district,
mhm.
the past practice has been, we absolutely bring that through personnel for approval and then to the board. In this particular case, we have special education teachers in our district. So we are not, it's not a new position, but based on the conversations with Joanne and at the director level, because of the number of students with IEPs, we need an additional teacher to support that for next year. So our definition of a new teacher, or I should say a new position that we would bring through committee and the board would be, again, a position that doesn't exist in our district. Those historically have been what we brought to the committee and then to the board for approval.
So when we voted on all those nurses that we brought from COVID, were those, I mean, we have nurses in our district. Why was that different then?
I'd have to look, Colin. I don't recall if we voted on that or if it was, information that was shared. I'd have to look if there was actually a vote on those.
I voted on it. I mean, not on personnel, but I believe it. Did it go to personnel before? It went, when we did those nurses, did we have that going to personnel before?
Well, I don't remember that, but I'm not sure. I mean,
We went to personnel for COVID-related expenses,
Right, yeah.
which is different. We have 120 special education teachers, so our promotion next year is 121. If we have, 20 fifth grade teachers, and next year we believe we need 21, that's the process, and we would bring the whole board, to the knowledge. So if the board is interested in us doing it differently, then, we just need to be aware of that and share when we do that process.
I would just be concerned that we budgeted it accordingly, make sure that we have the room in the budget for the additional position. So obviously, when we do budget for the year, we have the available funds to add staffing as required with enrollment. So that's all I'd be concerned about.
If we have one less, or, we don't bring that necessarily. We haven't brought, we have 19 teachers, next year we need 18, we haven't brought that forward. I mean, we can, but that hasn't been worked through the whole process.
Yeah, I would also echo that if we're gonna be adding any staffing numbers, I would like to see that brought before personnel too, before, instead of just in a, personnel report that, discuss with the board that whether or not we would like to go ahead with that. I mean, quite honestly, yeah, I would more than likely be in favor of adding special education teachers, but at the same time, I just don't want to see the on a personnel report without any discussion about the necessity. I believe that is my feeling, but that's the purpose of the committee.
And we talked a little bit about at the committee level, just, revamping a little bit about how we might see our overall picture. So, this is just one of those things that, just a request that it comes before, so. Any other discussion? Okay, if no other discussion, do we have a motion in a second? So, all in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, and the next is the fun part here, district activity update. Mark.
Yeah, I just put a few items, rather than me just speaking to some of the things that are happening, and that I want you just to be aware of. I just wanted to make sure that the board had something that they could potentially calendar as we look at options moving forward. So, in a corresponding manner, May 18th is the academic awards at Lincoln High School. It's going to be at the side bowl. That's where we recognize some of our student academics and some of our students who are doing the youth apprenticeship program. And we used to have a formal program here, and because we have 75 plus kids plus their mentors, it just got to be a lot. So that they've joined that last couple of years. May 25th is a scholarship night. Our seniors receive, hundreds of thousands of dollars from local community members. The MPSD employees are awarding over $7,000 in scholarships based on their own contributions. And that's been going on for about 5 or 6 years now. So a great shout out to those folks. June 1st, we recognize our 25-year, that's the Quarter Century Club, and retiree celebration. We had applause for that for the last 2 years because of COVID, and so we're back to that. We are going to be at the Capitol Civic Center, and just really a great time to celebrate some of the people who've been with us for much of their careers. McKinley Academy graduation is at the Stangl Building, June 2nd. There's no requirement for this board to do anything, but you're welcome to attend. It's an outside, so if you're dressing, I think last year we were outside and then we had a deluge and had to hustle inside. And we went off without a hit, so that's always great. A much smaller kind of intimate piece. And then June 10th, I'm hoping that at your tables today, you have a parking pass and some information. We'll have one more board meeting between now and then, but just to kind of give you a quick overview for those who are new, you're always welcome to attend. The board will sit on a podium at the front, and you have an opportunity to hand a diploma and shake a hand to the seniors as they walk through. Generally, we just take turns as board members. If there's a specific individual of which you know well or you want to hand, you just kind of talk within yourself to say, okay, that role I want to do, and you can work through that. If it is a typical June day in the bowl, I would recommend maybe something to cover your head. Definitely sunscreen. We'll have plenty of water, but it's hot down there, and you're on an aluminum
Is that a ball joke?
No, not at all. It could be, but it is warm. I'm telling you.
We had a hat on
It
last
is
year.
warm.
I was
And you don't
wishing I
think
could
it is
stay.
because there will be no wind there, right? Because you're down in the bowl and the breeze blows over the top. So, but it is a magnificent celebration. And believe it or not, we are 30 days from today, 31, I guess, and it will be here. So my last message would be, if you look at there, you have a parking pass, we'll help you with that. I just encourage you to come a little bit early. When I say a little bit, probably closer to noon than 12:30, because parking is at a premium and there's just a lot of people, especially if it's a nice day. There's just a lot of the public who will come, and it's just kind of hard. So we can give you the details. Just want to celebrate some of those things. A couple of other things, I think Pam had the celebration about a week and a half ago that our testing is done. And testing season seems like it's one of the longest seasons in school, but we're done testing. So that's a celebration. And if you go on to the district website, there's a great spot if you want to check out what concerts are happening this spring, either at the middle schools or the high schools. You can click on there, and there's definitely a list that you can go. You're welcome to attend any of those. And then on the same token, if you go to our track, Rubik Field, tennis, there is almost every night something going on if you want to stop out and see some of our kids. So those are spots to check out. That is my report.
Mark, I'd like to say thank you for putting that together. It's a good reminder for all of us to calendar some of those things. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, and we're going to move to unfinished business, and this was just the information about our superintendent search, just options and update. Mark, were you able to talk to the people that you were going to talk to?
So right now, I think we would just need to know where I would funnel the names that
Okay.
might come to the district. So, I've had a conversation with John Bales, who's the executive director for the superintendents of Wisconsin, and he would say that there's a few people that he could reach out to or respond, but I need a place for them to send their information. So I think that's just what we're waiting for from this perspective, and WASB as well.
Okay.
So whatever we decide, the board decides, would be the place that those individuals then would, we could reach out, or if we had information, just send to them. That's what we would do.
Okay, was anyone,
Yeah,
go
do we
ahead.
have to organize a search committee that is larger than the board, like to kind of include other stakeholders in this whole process?
My
You know,
understanding
for the
is,
interim?
yeah, my understanding is once our search firm gets going, they help us identify that and kind of sit down with us and ask us kind of what we would like to do.
Even for the interim?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Now I did get, I think we had agreed last time, if I'm remembering correctly, that we wanted to go with that School Exec Connect to do our interim. I did get a letter of agreement from them. So I didn't know how to disperse that to everybody, because obviously it's has in there the fees the scope, and then we obviously have to sign it and execute it. And once we do that, then Mark can funnel those names. They can start getting names together. So
We'd have to vote on the agreement because it involves, you know, allocation of funds, I think, doesn't it? I mean, I'm sure it's pretty much a boilerplate kind of a document, but, I don't know, just to make it legal, do we have to?
well, this one
vote on it?
is, it's over our $3,000 threshold for getting quotes.
Okay. Yeah.
We cannot do any action though on our, business today.
If the board feels comfortable with that group, but you want to definitely reach out to do something official, you could set up a virtual meeting sometime in the next, well, you gotta post it within 24 hours, but, we could post it and say, for the purposes of, working through a contract with the vendor, and then that'd be the extent of the meeting. That's definitely something that I think between Lori and myself, we could organize, find a time where we at least have a quorum that could do that.
Sure.
And then, the board has 6 other firms. I mean, I think we vetted the cost process in terms of how many people would do it. And then that, I think that the sooner you can do that,
Right.
the sooner you can start getting potential candidates, and then the firm can start to work through what the time frame might be, who else you might want to add, if so, how that works.
So could the executive committee be responsible for dealing with the contract?
We have a meeting on Friday morning. The
Executive
executive committee does.
I mean, you can do it any way. The board could direct the administration to go into that, or the board could vote on it. I guess the question is, I thought I heard you say you wanted to vote on it. Was it the executive committee that would have to bring it
My
back to the
question was, do
full
we
board?
have to? I mean, since it involves the expenditure of money, don't we have to
Yeah,
approve of that?
I would think we should, right?
You have to? No. If you want to, you should.
Oh, okay.
Right? I think you could direct the administration to do that.
Okay.
That's definitely within the scope of the sequence, but if you want to be official, right, you would have a meeting, and you would act, take a motion, a second to go into a contract for the purposes of a interim superintendent.
Or we could delegate that to the executive committee. Or
You could, but the executive committee then is going to have to bring it back to the full board. If that makes sense. I mean, they don't have to.
Oh,
They could then direct the
honestly, why
administration.
can't they make the decision?
They could. It's just they're not gonna, I mean, then you'd have the executive committee vote. I guess it just depends on the semantics
Be
of
the
who you want to
representatives of
approve
the
it.
board.
Yes. That would be fine.
I felt like we had a consensus at our last meeting that this was the group that we wanted to go with.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So we could direct our administration to go ahead.
I'm
With
comfortable
this.
with that.
They don't understand group.
I thought, in the interest of time, I thought that we had already figured that out, and that's why we chose that, because we were all in agreement with everything, including price and all that other stuff, so.
Is that Mondays?
Were we? That's okay. I mean,
Yeah, I don't,
Well,
I thought
think
we
it was
were
in the
gonna be
proposal, so it was in the
doing individual, that was for
So,
the,
you know,
yeah,
there's
this is
nothing
more or
else.
less just for the,
okay,
Change,
yeah.
oh, for the interim.
It's the same thing. Nothing had changed since the proposal, right? It's still within the price point's the
The
same
only-
as proposal.
It's significantly less.
Yeah.
Well, then even
Because,
one
because,
half,
because
one
it's
half,
just the interim part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll just add in there, I was responsible for reviewing that McPherson proposal, and their cost structure included that. So even if, when I talked to them, I explained that, more than likely, just given where we're at in the year, we probably need to get an interim before we find long-term answer. And that was included in there.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the other one said, because I didn't review them all in great detail.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think what we decided was that we would go with this one for our interim, and then that would give us time to look at the other ones.
Right, exactly.
I have
Um,
no objection.
Kathy, any objection to having the administration go ahead and execute this agreement and start funneling the names to School Exec Connect?
No, I think time is of the essence, and it would be best for us to move forward. So I have no problem with that.
No objections by you? Yes.
Would there be an issue if we ended up selecting another firm, like with the handoff, or I'm just trying to?
You mean
No, I don't-
for the big search?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't think there would be.
I would think we probably would.
This specifically says in it, interim superintendent search. That's the scope.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
So we're hiring them for a specific task, they have a complete task, and there we go.
Correct.
So, but there is the also, in addition to that, I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the
Well,
executive.
we can't though, because it's not an actionable item.
Can't make a motion?
It's not,
No. All right, well, then
I
I'll
just
just,
think if everyone is in consensus that that's what we're gonna do,
Yeah.
then we'll go ahead and do that and marketing, get that process started.
so, and when they provide, you know, dossiers and stuff like that on candidates, does that go to the president of the board?
Yeah, and then we'll bring it to,
It'll
you know,
go to them, and then they'll give access to whoever
Right.
the
Right.
president decides.
right, and I'll keep everybody updated on, and when we wanna meet, if we wanna meet earlier than
Right,
our
exactly.
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay? All right,
Just have to forward that.
sure, yeah.
I'd be interested in what they said, Mark. How many, you know, are there a few or many people that are, you know, looking to do an interim?
I thought we had discussed that in the last meeting and we had.
No, but Mark talked the actual.
Oh,
I think we need to get moving as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yes,
Where are the people from Exec Connect out of?
their firm is Illinois, but the guy that has been assigned to us is Joe Sheehan, who is
Sheboygan guy?
the Sheboygan person, yes. Mhm. Yeah, that came highly recommended by just at least 4 people that we had talked to.
Yeah, we should try to see people on the way.
Okay, so I will forward that to Mark and we'll get that started, and then we'll just funnel everything to me, and then I will get everybody updated, and we'll go from there about interviews and all that kind of stuff. Okay? All right, super. Okay, new business. I wanted to talk about, I had added strategic plan here. I know Tony has sent us some information about just some items on, I also did talk with Joe Sheehan also about just the, does it make sense for us to have a strategic plan kind of in tandem with this search? And it sounds like, you know, if we get a facilitator to do that for us, it'll really hone in our vision of what we're looking for our main superintendent search. It'll also give us, you know, some time to be thinking about what we might want our interim person to be doing. So I was kind of looking for how do people feel about doing a strategic plan, and I'm getting actually a facilitator to do that process with
You mean
us.
for the whole school system?
Yeah, it would be for the district. Mhm.
So
You know how big those suckers are?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. But you know, yeah, that's a fairly major. That's a heavy lift.
We don't want to make a mistake.
Well, no, I mean, you know, I thought maybe we would have a look at stuff and set priorities on that, but to do a whole strategic plan, it's just like.
Well, I think what we're gonna do, I mean, how I'm envisioning this is that we're gonna pick, you know, what our priorities are.
Sure.
You know, and I think it's gonna narrow down kind of what we would like, you know, our district to look like in the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
And I think that that's important for when we go ahead and look for when we're needing to tell the search firm kind of what we're looking for, kind of leader we're looking for, to help, give that direction.
I think it's a no-brainer. We gotta do it.
How do you want to, I've been talking to some people that can do that for us. Do we want to do it again with getting 3 bids or quotes?
Oh,
I
you
should
mean we
say?
get a firm to do the strategic plan?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
We were thinking that we
Oh,
were
you're
gonna
That's
do
not
this.
such a heavy lift, but, I mean, I've been through a couple of them with,
Carrie, actually, we're going to appoint you as being
Well,
the
I've been through a
strategic
couple of them,
planner.
honest to God, they take the whole year, and just, there's 5 committee meetings a week, and, and reports and all that, so I'm relieved with the idea of getting somebody else to do all of that, and for us to kind of instruct them as to what we're looking for and what we're not looking for, and, and when we may need it, stuff like that, and say, okay, and then have a final editorial sign off.
Right. So,
I can do that.
So I guess I'm looking for just some direction on how would you guys like to proceed? I mean, I have somebody that, I have a quote from them, but it's the only one that I have. I know WASB also does strategic planning, and, we can cast our net.
I don't see that. I mean, if more information is always better. I think that putting it out for bid, it wouldn't be a bad idea. See what everybody can do. I mean, there's no timeline to putting this together really. It's that, I mean, yes, it'll be a great job tool for, when we look at superintendent and, the interim and all that stuff, but, I don't see that, there's a huge, needs to be done right now. So I'd be okay with putting it out to bid, right? And trying to do it the right way.
I agree. Yeah, I think if we got 3 quotes, that would be consistent with policy.
So what's the ballpark on this in terms of cost?
I only looked at one.
Okay.
So I hate to say, without having any comparables.
Well, I don't think you really want to say what the ballpark would be, because then it's going to be, you're kind of
Right. If they're
letting the
listening
cat out of
right
the bag,
now.
right? Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering what
It really-
that's
It really kind of
on
depends
the bid part.
Yeah.
That's right.
It really
But,
kind of depends on the scope too, Carrie. So like, it can be designed in many ways. The person that I was talking to really looks at, who do you want me to talk to, right? Do you want me to talk to our administration? Do you want to talk to get stuff to bring back
Okay.
to the board? So it's kind of, again, going to be a scope issue of, what they recommend for kind of what we're looking for.
Okay.
So I'll plan on getting us 3 bids, bringing them back to everybody to look at, and we can pick one and go from there. Sound good?
Do we want to try to put a timeline on that?
Yeah, I mean, I want it done as soon as
Okay,
possible.
that's-
So I'm thinking that we would have something at least ready to go for the next time that we meet as a board. In 2 weeks.
Okay. I mean, I thought you'd suggested that when we kind of get our act together in terms of having, consensus on values and goals and expectations, et cetera, when we're looking for a superintendent.
Well, I think.
But then after we've done our laundry here on that we could then say, okay, let's get a firm to do a general study. I mean, that would be my kind of sense of progression. And I guess I'd be interested in, getting bids, of course, but, I think we have some work to do before we really set a firm loose to start doing a strategic plan.
Colin, do you want to say
Don't
something?
you?
Yeah, I do. So I think so I agree that we should be doing this. We should be having a strategic plan. By putting forward a strategic plan, you know, we're gonna have to go to the firm that we hire for superintendent and say, this is kind of what we're looking at, right? So now we're hiring an entity to really compose what we're looking at in a very official, long-term strategy, rather than just us say, yeah, let's focus on behavior and get the scores up. You know, it's kind of a little bit more in depth. I think that should definitely, if we can run it in conjunction, that's going to be beneficial to what we're trying to achieve here. So I don't think we should be waiting till after. If I don't think that was that what you were.
Well, I think, you know, if we get a strategic plan, we want to hire a superintendent that will be involved in implementing it. So,
Right, yeah.
you know, I think that there's a progression of steps here, and that's all I'm talking about. I'm fully in favor of the process and you know, and all that sort of stuff. I'm just trying to think of the organization of our intellectual works.
The one bid here that I have, you know, they have timelines in here, so I'm gonna look for that with everybody, but you know, like 1 week to, you know, collect this and, you know, when they're gonna come back to us, final report and recommendations, possibly by our December board meeting.
Oh, okay. That would be good.
So, you know, this is just because there's, you know, again, we're gonna probably want them to talk to key stakeholders and our administration staff, things like that, and so.
So don't you think that our strategic plan will have a fairly significant influence on what kind of person we're looking for as a
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't expect we'll be interviewing for superintendents until February or March. Don't you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. What, Mark, you've been through this in the slide. Oh, you know.
Right, I mean, Mark's suggestion was have them in place
I
by,
agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you want to be a little earlier than, I would lean towards January, February.
Okay.
As opposed to February. March.
Okay.
Just in case
That would
something
be cool.
trips you up. Because it's gonna take some time, much like this. Like, I think if you feel like the board can come back next week or in 2 weeks and have some bids for strategic plan, that just means we have bids.
Right.
Doesn't even mean
Yeah.
we've done any work yet.
Right.
So, you know, then you're gonna have a couple weeks before you can, I mean, it'll be July before you actually are really into the work probably.
Oh,
So
okay.
I think you're right, but I would say, if you have a superintendent in place in, let's just say in February, for example, you know, it might take a week to go through the contract and get all the details worked out, right? And then the next board meeting might be, you know, it falls on whatever the next board meeting is. And then the next board meeting is, let's say, the second in February. That's likely the time frame that you're going to want to be done is before March, because the more competition you have for selecting superintendents, I mean, other districts looking for the same people, you know,
They're in the same race we are.
they're looking to do that. So if you know now, I'd start as soon as you can.
Stacy.
yes, oh, I'm sorry.
So that's okay. So as far as once we receive the bids, are we gonna run this through a committee before bringing to board, or are we gonna bring this to general, and then obviously then we would probably have to be in a closed session either way for the discussion of bids. What were you thinking as part of this process?
Doesn't fit nicely under any specific committee.
Doesn't.
The executive committee would be the place that I would run it to, and then the full board takes their recommendation, it's done.
So that would be.
All right.
Is that okay with everybody? So the officers
That's
will
cool,
meet
yeah.
and will, and make a recommendation in our next meeting? Okay. Kathy, you okay with that?
I am.
For something?
Yep. I think it's important to remember too, we may get 3 bids, but that doesn't mean we have to take one of those bids either. So, you know, it is great to get the process rolling right away.
All right, and if anyone thinks about anything else about that, certainly shoot me a message, but I'll get on that. Okay, and then the second thing under new business was just an item to bring forward. We had a discussion at the personnel committee meeting, and we need board action on that. And we have a motion and a second already to retain services of an attorney, Jim Massey from Von Briesen and Roper, to support any pending personnel issues. So the motion and second is out there. Do we have any discussion about that? And I do also have a letter of intent from attorney Massey's firm as well that I will refer to Mark and also Angela, so they have that.
We have a motion and second already?
Yeah, it
What
came
was
out of the meeting, right? Yeah, it
Oh,
came from
yeah,
the
okay,
committee.
yeah,
Came out
gotcha.
of committee. So, any further discussion on that?
I just have a quick question, Stacy, because I missed the latter part of that meeting. When we're saying supporting support pending personnel issues, those are our current issues, correct? That we're just,
Correct,
that
yes.
you mean. Okay, just wanted to clarify for myself. Thank you.
Okay, all right, if no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. All right, and other business, I just put on there remarks from board president. Just wanted to say a couple things here. I just wanted to say, and especially to our public as well, is that we're going to keep you informed of our superintendent search. The administration, with the help of Superintendent Holzman, has put a link on our page, so you can click on that and get an update from us on that. So we'll let you know kind of where we're headed and what's the latest update. Also, please refer to our calendar. Superintendent Holzman made a nice presentation on that, but we really encourage our community, parents to come out and support our schools. So look at what's going on. Spring seems to have lots of good stuff going on, and concerts, music, things like that. So sports. So visit that. Just want to thank parents for remaining engaged. I know on social media, we still have people engaging in school board matters, so just appreciate everyone continuing to just stay engaged. And then the only other thing I wanted to say was I know that we've had a lot of closed sessions lately, and that's just, very specific. The law is about when or what topics we can have. So there's typically personnel issues or, student issues. So it's for confidentiality purposes. So I know you may have seen that. We don't see that to be a trend forming, but just wanted you to be aware that we know that that's, doesn't always look transparent, but we got to follow the law and protect the confidentiality of those that we discuss. So just wanted to say that. So I don't have any other remarks. Let's talk about future meeting dates. I know Joyce and I have talked today about having a personnel committee meeting actually next week to discuss some personnel positions that may be needed. So when would be a good time, Carrie?
I'm sort of retired. I'm busy, but I'm retired, so I'm flexible. I prefer, I can do it.
We need to have a joint one too, don't we?
Yeah, we need to look at that. but it's
Oh, okay.
personnel and finance committee meeting.
Do you
Then
guys,
if Wednesday would be any possibility? I mean, Colin and I had, just glancing at kind of stuff, just throwing it out. Or we can sort it out over email.
so that would be the 18th.
Mhm. Well, we would actually need to contact our broker too, maybe instead of dumping it on here too. We do need to get one on the calendar though as soon as possible.
Do you want to do one before the 24th, the joint one?
It would be ideal to, I don't know if we'll be able to get that organized in time.
I wonder if we should reach out to our brokers tomorrow and see if they can give us some dates and times.
Yeah, we're on their radar and they're interested in getting something set up as soon as possible.
Okay. Great. So you want to just hold off on that for now? I mean, Wednesday's available for me, so.
I think we can, I mean, there's some things that step into the personnel.
Okay,
committee,
sure.
right?
Sure, yeah,
That
absolutely.
You and I talked about, Stacy,
Mhm.
so next week at least, Wednesday is probably the best day for me and my, we look here.
Let's say 18th.
Yes.
I'd say, say anytime after 10 o'clock. If I have something scheduled, I can move it around, but.
Preferably for me on that one, I would prefer it be in the evening, just on the 18th, I'm out of town, until 3 that day.
Oh, we could do it before. We've done
No, if we're looking at the personnel committee.
Oh, I thought you were talking about joint, sorry.
No, no,
my
I'm
bad.
talking just the person.
that.
Not
Just
that
the
others
person.
can't come, obviously, but I believe the personnel committee has some things to discuss.
Yes. What about 1:30? Does that
Sure.
work for everybody? And right after lunch?
1:30 on 18th.
Yes. Does
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, personnel 1:30 and
Yep.
18.
that work, Joyce?
I can send out an invite.
Okay,
Over on our
perfect.
calendar, so 1:30.
Yes. Okay, any other meetings? Angela, you're gonna get back to us regarding that. Okay. Curriculum does have a meeting set up, correct, Kathy?
Yeah, I have several things to tell you about. First of all,
Okay.
curriculum meeting we will have on May 19th from 5 to 6. We're scheduled for that. We're also hoping with curriculum that they're going to be I'm going backwards now, by the way, that curriculum will be meeting this coming Sunday at approximately 6 o'clock, but I am with our ad hoc committee, but I am still working on a location for that meeting. So that is tentative right now, but I'm very hopeful that will be able to take place. And also ad hoc will be meeting on this Thursday again at 1 o'clock on the 12th. So I have those 3 lined up right now.
Kathy, what time on Sunday? Sorry.
We're looking at 6, I believe.
Curriculum.
Yep, and that's like a joint meeting, curriculum with the ad hoc committee.
What is that one, Kathy?
It's a joint meeting of the curriculum committee with the ad hoc behavior group
Sunday at 6.
on Sunday at 6, right?
This Sunday?
Yes. So I had reached out a couple of weeks ago and everybody said they could attend. Pam and Jason won't be able to be there, but we thought we would still meet as a group because I'll be in contact with Pam and Jason and filling them in on everything. And then we'll be meeting with them the following Thursday as a committee.
Yep. And that's gonna be here at Lindbergh, or where's that at?
I'm still working on that. So I'm hoping it can be at the board office. If that does not work, I'm going to have to try to come up with another location. So I'll have to notify you of that. If you can just block out the time for now, at least.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then I think building and grounds is the only other.
Yep.
The
I haven't
persons in
heard
here.
anything.
Okay. Is there any
Impressed at all.
agenda items that anyone has for building and grounds that needs to be put on there? We can reach out to him.
I have something, I'll
Can you
shoot
talk
an
to
email.
Carrie?
Yep.
Yeah, we've been forwarding it to
Oh.
area for your info.
So I'll touch base with you after.
Okay.
And then the executive committee is gonna meet, this Friday, to talk about kind of structure, board meeting kind of stuff, so, there'll be an agenda out for that shortly. And I think that's it.
So we have another board
Next
meeting?
meeting.
We have
Special
another
meeting.
board meeting this month?
We're doing it at noon or 2 or 5 or the next.
Oh, right, right,
Board meeting.
so, right, our next, special board meeting, so our second one of the month is usually Tuesdays at noon,
That's the 24th then?
yes. Do you guys wanna keep that time for now?
I mean,
I don't prefer, noon meetings. I prefer them in the evening. I know Kathy has, stated that she is, has things that maybe prevent that. So I mean, if
change the
there's,
day of the week.
yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
Oh,
Yep, if there's a possibility that maybe we could just then change that date. Kathy, I don't know if you have any, you want to weigh in that, but I would like
Yeah,
to.
no, We did talk about this before, guys, and due to my current physical state, I'm fine with meeting in the evenings for the next at least several months. So, and I don't know how many months, but for sure for several months, that's fine.
I'm working when people are sleeping now, so I'm open to every time. I don't care.
What about, you guys want to do, the 24th, keep it on that day and do 5:30?
Sure, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so Tuesday, 24th at 5:30.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, well, I think that is all our business that we have for this evening. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Kathy.
It's a
Yep.
wrap.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
One of our shortest.
I would-
Have a great night, everybody.
You too, Kathy. Get home before the sun.
Better.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.